So how would you set up Google search ads? It's important for your business. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video. I happen to be a Silicon Valley marketer who's managed over $50 million of advertising spend for some of the biggest startups that you probably know. And that's a lot of Google ad spend. And so I know the pain of not knowing how to set up and create Google ads and what the best practices are, because we all had to start somewhere. So this video is gonna hit all the major topics on what you need to do to think about account planning, account structure, how to squeeze as much as you can out of Google ads for your own business to make money or to drive sales or to drive downloads, or to drive clicks, whatever your KPI is. So you're going to see me do that for my own business. I have a website called The Gift Jack. I'm also going to do that for another business out there. I'll probably pick an e-commerce business. Let me know in the comments if you want me to do another business as well. I'm always happy to do more of these. I love account planning. I think it's the most important piece of running a successful Google Ads campaign, and I've done a lot of them. Additionally, this is video 2 of my Google Ads tutorial series. Make sure you check out the next 3 as well. And by the end of it, you'll probably be an expert in Google Ads. So let's get into Google. Just a quick overview, but you may already know this. There are several different keyword types for Google search ads. And this is how Google will know where to serve your ad based on a search query. So here are the examples. There are exact match keywords. Those are bracketed keywords, right? You can see this plastic surgeon has a bracket. And that will generally show an ad when somebody searches for plastic surgeon or plastic surgeons. There's also something called a phrase match, where if you put quotations around the keyword, that just means that the words have to be included in that order, but any other words can also be included in the search query. So here's an example: plastic surgeon in San Diego, or local plastic surgeons. Same idea. There's something called broad match. It's not commonly used because it can match to so many unrelated queries to your business that it's not very reliable for driving strong performance. For instance, what if you had the broad match modified plastic surgery and you ended up serving for cosmetic surgeon? That might not be anything your business is related to. So what Google did was they came up with a modified version of broad match. And what you do is you put a plus sign in front of each of the keywords. So you do plus plastic or plus surgeon. So what this says is, hey Google, show my ad for anything that includes the word plastic and surgeon. It can have any other words in there. And realistically, you can modify these words a little bit, okay? They don't always have to have plastic or surgeon. Here's an example where they do include it. It says plastic and reconstructive surgeon, or top surgeon in plastic surgeries. So from a practitioner's standpoint, I'll give you a quick history. Up until the last year, the best practice was to mainly use exact match keywords. You would use exact match because those were the ones that you could trust were about your business. And then you would use broad match modified to find additional keywords that you didn't already have as an exact match. So let's use this example of plastic surgeon. Let's say you are a plastic surgeon, right? You are trying to find more people to be a plastic surgeon for. So maybe your search term is plastic surgeon in San Diego. But after you have the exact version of that, maybe you make the same broad match modified. So you would say plastic surgeon in San Diego with the plus signs. And what that allowed Google to do was it allowed you to find more search queries, maybe like rhinoplastic surgeon in El Segundo. You wouldn't get that with exact match. Well, what has happened more recently, this is definitely a bigger change that came out in 2020, is that exact match is really no longer exact match. Exact match keywords almost act as broad match modified these days. There's a lot of crossover between what you put as an exact match keyword and what Google is actually going to serve it for, because Google is getting smarter, or at least they think they are, and now they are almost taking control away from marketers like me and potentially marketers like you or small business owners like you to make it easier and have less levers to pull. So the times have shifted, which means account planning and account structures have shifted. So the next step is how to think about your account plan from the ground up. This is a clean slate. We are going to do this from the ground up and you're going to get to see how somebody who's done it at the top level would go about it for their own business. So this is my search account plan. What do I want it for? Well, I want to run Valentine's Day ads, and I'm going to show you how and what my business is to give you more context. So I have a website that I've been developing on my YouTube channel. I have a YouTube series that has walked through every step of building this, and it's an affiliate business. I make articles like this, and if somebody clicks my link and goes to buy from Amazon, I make a commission. And I have several articles that are specifically for Valentine's Day, and we're approaching Valentine's Day. So I want to craft an account plan to market these articles. If you're not in the same business, this affiliate business, don't worry, because I'll show you how I would do the same thing for a product company like Shutterfly. So I'll do that right after I do my own account plan. So stick around for that. So for my Valentine's Day account plan, I need to think logically about what I need. The main components to a search campaign are the campaign, they're the ad group, they're the keyword, and then the ads. All right, we're going to cover these three today. In the next video, we're going to be looking at how to build the best search ads for your campaigns. But today we're just talking structure. So how do we want to structure this? Well, I'm thinking, just given the size and scope, right? I have about 6 articles. I'm probably only going to need one campaign, just to be very frank. And like we've talked about before, we want good naming conventions. So here's how I name things. I start with the type of campaign. In this case, it's a search campaign. Then I have the theme. It's going to be Valentine's. I'll probably put a PH as a placeholder in case I ever develop a sub theme. Then I'm going to have match type and then the geography. So for right now, we're just going to advertise in the United States, and we'll talk a little bit about what match type here is going to be because times have changed. So keyword match type is not, the strategy is not what it used to be. It has shifted a bit. So let's grab my articles. We have 7 articles. And what are these about? Well, this is for mom, right? This is for daughter. This is also for daughter. This is for mom. This is for classmates. This is for sister. And this is for dad. All right. As you can see, there's a little bit of overlap in these articles, but they were written for specific keywords to rank in Google. So it might be different than your business, especially if you're a product or a service business. You probably are only going to have a home page or a product page or a product group page that you're trying to advertise. The premise still remains the same. We want to think about how we're going to advertise or what the goal of our account plan is going to be. So for me, it's going to be to try and target keywords that I could run these specific articles on. So the first thing I'm thinking about is the keywords, right? What type of keywords am I going to use for this? And then where am I going to put them in terms of the overall hierarchy within the structure, all right? So I'm definitely going to have a mom's keyword for Valentine's Day because a lot of husbands or kids want to buy Valentine's Day gifts for their moms or their spouses, more so than these other ones, I would say, right? I'm expecting there'll be more keyword volume up here. So I'm likely going to have a mom ad group. I'm also going to have a daughter or potentially kids ads group. Is there a world where I advertise these articles just as kids? Maybe. Probably more likely that I use that kids as a keyword itself so that I can get more eyeballs on the ad, and then I can qualify with specific ad copy. Right? I can say, hey, this is just for a list for daughters that I'm advertising. I already have this other mom, right? So I got 2 articles for mom. Classmates, just given where COVID is, I'm probably not going to include this. And I don't think there's going to be a lot of people searching for this on Google itself. And so I'm going to skip this one. And then sister/sibling, right? It's the same premise as the kids. Perhaps we do a keyword that says Valentine's Day gifts for sibling. And then even if somebody is searching for gifts for their brother, well, they're not going to click our ad because ours is going to say, hey, this is gifts for sister, but we still potentially want to show up there. And then our final ad group, I think, is going to be dad. So these will be Valentine's Day gifts for dad. All right. So there's a lot of different ways that you can come up with a keyword list set. For me, it's going to be relatively simple, and I'll show you why, but I'll go through some motions to show you how I might look at it if I had a more robust campaign. I've managed Google ad accounts that have had 600 campaigns in them with hundreds of thousands of keywords and ad groups. We're looking at a handful of keywords and ad groups and one campaign. So this is a very small snapshot of what large Google ad accounts can look like. But we all have to start somewhere. So I don't know where you're starting. I'll show you what I would do for Shutterfly right after this though. All right, so let me show you how I'm thinking about this for search terms. I think we'll see what ends up happening, but realistically, I want to be showing up for Valentine's Day gift for mom. But I don't know how much actual volume I'm going to be able to get because I'm going to have to bid very, very low. Just because of where my business sits, I'm going to have to arbitrage traffic basically. All right, I'm going to have a 10 or 15 cent bid, which means I'm not going to get a lot of impressions. I'm just not going to have a lot of volume. If you're selling a product and you have healthy margins, you're going to be able to compete and bid, for your industry at a much healthier rate. For me, I'm just trying to arbitrage some traffic, and this is the first time that I'm doing it for this business, so I'm going to start out pretty small. And that means I have to widen the pool of eyeballs that my ad sees. So I'm going to use broad match modified, and I'm going to use relatively short keywords, right? Valentine's, mom. So I'm just trying to pick up anything that's going to be related to Valentine's Day gifts for mom. But I'll probably also pick up a lot of other unnecessary search terms. And I'm going to have to use negative keywords, which we'll talk about later, to remove those as they come in. And you'll see that I've also included kids and I've also included sibling down here for the same reasons I had mentioned. So this is probably the structure I'll go with. It is simple, it is broad, and it is going to be around the goals that I need to as an advertiser. So the other way to do this in terms of keyword research is to go into your Google Ads account and go up to Keyword Planner, all right? And you're going to have two different areas, all right? One of them is going to allow you to discover new keywords. The other one's going to give you better search volume metrics. For us, I think we'd probably start with discover new keywords, all right? And I would probably start with Valentine gift. And this is going to give us a pretty good sense of some of the keywords that are out there. Down here, if you can see, we have about 1,400 keywords that Google is recommending. What we can do is we can download all this data. It's going to give us a nice Excel file, and then we can parse it. You could potentially go line by line, right? It might take you a while, or you can use some filters or a pivot table to kind of condense it down to some reasonable themes that you expect. One of those might include adding a filter like this. So what do we know? We want to have keywords for Valentine's Day gifts for mom. So let's add a filter and find the keywords that have that. Well, here we go. Now we have a pretty good list of keywords that have the volume, our expected cost per click, a competition index, right? These are relatively low. Recent trends, you can see they're almost non-existent because people only start searching for Valentine's Day a couple weeks before Valentine's Day. So realize you might have some seasonality in some of your keyword themes. Make sure you think about them as themes. They're all different themes. And then it will give you some decent search trends and competition trends. My guess is all of these down here will have little to no search volume. I'm really only thinking this one or this one are keywords that will actually serve for, all right? Which I knew already in my head was going to be the case. Once you've done this for so many years, it's kind of intuitive, which is why we're using broader keywords, okay? Because a lot of these are just not going to show up. And then the bid range, this is going to tell you how competitive it's going to be for you to show up on the top of the Google search engine results page. I'm thinking I need to be around 10 to 15 cents a click. And that means my volume is going to be even less because this is saying, hey, Matt, if you want to compete, you're going to have to be at about 44 cents. So we might not be able to even show our ads, just to be very frank. And then you can continue doing your filtering, right? Let's say we wanted to look at dad now. So dad has even less volume. We might not even have somebody search this and our ad show. There's just not a lot of volume here. Look at these numbers. Right? Relatively low. And that makes sense because Valentine's Day isn't generally a gifting day for dads. It's a gifting day for moms, for daughters, and for spouses. So let's look at sister, right? We also have sister as a theme. Same issue. We might not serve an ad here. Not a lot of volume. doesn't even have cost per click estimates, relatively low. So the final one here is daughter. And this looks very similar to dad to me. So wherever dad ends up is where I'm guessing daughter ends up as well in terms of search volume. So if we get a little bit on one, I'm guessing we'll get a little bit on the other. But realistically, if you can follow along with this and build one campaign, you are probably miles ahead of most advertisers, right? Thinking about it like this is a step way beyond what most advertisers do when they're planning. The only other thing I will say, which is again a little bit more advanced, is I talked a little bit about the history of the keyword, right? Exact match. It used to be the big volume driver that everybody would target. These days, the best practice is to have in the same ad group, you do what's called a multiple keyword ad group. And so you can just stuff other related keywords that are like your theme. So if you have a mom ad group, just put as many keywords in here as you want that relate to your topic. So Valentine's gift for mom. Or the other variation to this is you can do other match types. So you can put in your exact matches as well. All right. So feel free to have 10, 20 keywords in one ad group as long as they are tightly bound themes. All right. All of this is about themes. So you need to think about it as how can I build ad group and keyword sets that are so tightly related that when I write an advertisement for them, it will fit every keyword in here, because that's what we're going to be doing in the next video. We're going to be actually writing the ads that will go to these keywords. So when somebody searches them, it needs to be relevant. This ad can't be about unique gifts for Father's Day. Otherwise, it makes no sense. And then issues like quality score come into play. We talked about that in the first Google tutorial video. So make sure you go watch that if you don't know what quality score is. So this is how the structure is going to be for me. And you're going to get to see what this looks like live when we launch it. But to be fair, I also want to show you how I would do the same type of structure for a bigger brand. I want to look at a company that sells something. I don't sell anything. I just drive traffic to Amazon. And you might sell something, or you might have a service, or you might have a piece of software, right? And you're not trying to drive clicks so much as you're trying to drive revenue or leads. But I assure you, the process is the same. You are trying to find customers that are ready to buy. That is the power of Google search. The power of Google search is that people have the intent to do what they're searching. So if somebody is searching for best photo book, they're looking to buy a photo book. I assure you of that. If somebody is searching for wall art for my office, they're probably ready to buy some wall art, right? Otherwise, what else would they be looking at? And then there are other qualifying terms in search queries that make it truly evident that they want to buy, right? Buy red shoe, buy Adidas shoe, buy Nike shoe. Or maybe you're in a service business, right? Fast food restaurant near me. What do you think that person wants? I think that person is going to buy food in the next 30 to 60 minutes. And so you want to have your themes built to go after the people in your industry. So Shutterfly is a great example of a company that has an immense amount of products, which makes running Google Ads for somebody like Shutterfly a challenge, but also really fun. Hundreds of campaigns, hundreds of thousands of keywords, millions of dollars a month in budget. The opposite of what we're doing right now on the Gift Jack, but we'll hopefully get there one day. So how would I think about it if I was in your shoes and I was looking at Shutterfly? Well, these up here, I would think about as my themes, all right? So I'd say, okay, I have a photo books theme. I have a photo cards theme. I have a photo print theme. I have a gifting theme, a wall art theme, right? Just down the line. And then you start getting into like subcategories. So let's say we wanted to make a search photo book campaign. You see how I leave a dash here? And up here I left a placeholder? Well, that's because depending on the industry you're in, you might have a theme, photo books, but you also have different sub themes. So there's a difference between a travel photo book and a family photo book and a wedding photo book, right? The keywords are not the same. If somebody wants a wedding photo book, they're going to tell you that they want a wedding photo book in Google, and you should serve them an ad that is hyper tailored to that. You should serve them a landing page that is hyper tailored to that, right? right? That's why you want to think about your Google search account structure or how to set up Google search as building out themes. So I would say, okay, let me build the travel subtheme, right? So I put travel here, and then I would do match type. Again, it depends which you choose. So we're just going to do broad match modified. For somebody like Shutterfly, if your business is, decent budgets and decent scale, I'd probably do both match types. So I'd put BMT. So that means I'm going to include broad match modified keywords, and then I'll include the exact match as well. So same process. All right. Now I know this is my landing page. I might also test the homepage, by the way. Maybe Shutterfly has a very optimized homepage, so this could be a good test. And then what else am I looking for on here? Well, I'm looking for other keywords. Is there anything else I need to be thinking about when it comes to travel? Well, I know it's a photo book. How about also that it could be called a photo album? It could also be that. And then I might click into them and I might say, okay, what else matters here? Well, the size might matter, right? You might end up having, if half the people search for 18 by 11 and the other half search for the other sizes, maybe you have an 18 by 11 theme. Think about what that could mean for your business, right? You're probably not selling photo books. You're probably selling a different product, but the premise is the same. You might have two different types of products. One might be a soft cover. The other might be a hardcover. So do you need keywords around this? You probably want to include these things as features in your ad copy. And we'll explore what that means in the next video. You'll also see all of this great product marketing. If you happen to be working at a company and watching this video and you don't handle product marketing, there's probably information about your product that you can use for not only your keyword research, but also for your ad copy, and we'll talk about that. So I see travel custom photo book. There you go. That is probably another keyword for us. Now you might be saying, well, Matt, why would you include travel photo book and then travel custom photo book? Well, because my guess is something like travel photo book is going to have a lot more volume and it's going to be less qualified than travel custom photo book. The more long tail a search query gets, the more relevant it gets to a user, especially if there's buyer intent in that keyword. Now, the problem is you start losing volume as you get longer and longer and longer. If you had a keyword that had 8 different words in it, I doubt you're getting more than a couple searches a month. I mean, not many people are putting that in. Most people are sticking to about 2 to 5 words in their search query. And then the other piece to this is, well, you might end up in a world where you have 2 ad groups, right? You have high volume and low volume. So these 2 groups might be completely separate in your structure. You might treat them separately. And you would do this so that you could bid them separately. Bidding is a big piece to this. We'll talk about the bidding piece as we get into another subsequent Google Ads tutorial video, because how we bid this is going to depend on a couple different factors, mainly performance. My guess is this would drive a higher return on ad spend for Shutterfly, these 2 terms versus these. That would be my guess. And finally, you can go through the same process that we did up in Google Keywords Planner, or if you have a paid tool, there's some good ones like SpyFu, and I think SEMrush has a good planning tool. You can also see what keywords your competitors are bidding on with those tools, right? So you can get a long list of keywords that you either share with your competitors, you're both bidding on, or keywords that just your competitors bidding on, right? Might be a growth opportunity for your business. So I would check out those tools if that sounds like something you need for your own business or to show your boss, whatever it is. So we go through the same process and we'd say, okay, let me look at travel photo book and let's start to see what we get. The first thing I know is competition all says hi here. We didn't see that on my Valentine's Day ones. So you're going to be competing against a lot of brands. But what do you see? Well, here's a word we did not include in our keywords, but it makes logical sense. If somebody is searching for a travel photo album, they're probably also going to search for a vacation photo album. So guess what? We want to make sure that we include that up in here. But we don't just stop there, because when competition is high in your industry, there are going to be a lot of other keywords. So you're probably going to be in a position where you can download these keyword sets and really parse through them. What I'm seeing already is they also call it a picture book. We didn't include that in any of our keywords. They also call it a memory book. All right. So there are a lot of different ways that users might search for your products or services. You need to go and do the work and figure out what some of those are. And all you have to do is put them in a list and think about them thematically. So remember, the big key to this is how you build the theme out. From an advertiser's perspective, our goal is to generally solidify a core set of keywords that are going to be valuable for our business. The other aspect of it is to find additional areas of growth and opportunity. So historically with Google search, it was the exact keywords were the core areas of your business that drove performance. And then you used broad match modified keywords to find those areas of growth. Think about it like a spider, right? Once you find one node, you can spider out and find another node and then another node, right? Until you've basically scoured the whole landscape of potential clicks for your business or industry, right? And then you might need to be thinking, well, do I need another product or service offering, or should I expand into another advertising platform, right? Google search is not the only advertising platform out there. However, we did cover quite a bit of the high level strategic piece to Google search. We talked about the account planning. We talked about the thematic setup of your campaign, as well as how that waterfalls down to your ad group, which holds your keyword and your ad. And then we also looked at how we can find those keywords for not only my business, but also a bigger business like Shutterfly, right? We did an example of just one ad group for Shutterfly. Mind you, Shutterfly probably has hundreds or thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of ad groups. And there are programmatic ways that you can build out bigger accounts. We're going to be building those ads, and then also we're going to be doing the work within Google Ads Editor. And if you don't know anything about Google Ads Editor, it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. Make sure you're tuning in to the next videos for this Google Ads tutorial. Bye-bye.